going, Erin?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
Just living the dream.
Living your best life.
Summertime.
Guess what?
And the living's easy. What?
I'm in Philadelphia right now.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia. You are. This is us from the past.
This is us from the past. Coming at you hard and fast.
I like it.
From the past.
That's what. You said that part, though. This is us from the past coming at you hard and fast.
You know, that's right.
Okay, but don't forget that because that's a solid hook.
Okay.
For our band.
It's gone. That's all right, though.
God damn!
But listen, I'm out there and I'm eating good food, probably.
Hell
this
yeah.
is my goddamn.
Is
but
it?
I am currently on a vacation and I cannot fucking wait for it right now.
Oh,
That's where I'm
my
at right
God.
now. I'm so
well, now
excited.
you're just letting all of our listeners know to find you in Philly.
Find me in Philly, bitch.
Oh,
see what's up. I'm
I
going to be at
love
the
it.
Padre game.
Oh, my God. No kids, nothing.
Yeah, no kids, nothing. I'm going to go out there and visit my cousin and his
Hell yeah.
lady, and I'm so fucking excited.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm jealous because when you're going to be doing that, I'll be like another week deep into like, summer.
Yeah, that's rough.
Just watching you like, what's it like with no kids?
I'll text you every time I eat a Philly cheesesteak.
You better. Oh,
Like,
my God. That
this
sounds
one is
amazing.
Also good.
Yeah, look at this one.
Look at this one.
How about this
It's
one?
also good.
I went with peppers this time.
I plan to have one every day.
You better. God damn. You're going to shit your brains out.
I'm going to... So much poop is going to exit
I
my
can't
body.
wait
It's going to
for
be
you.
a nightmare. But listen, I'm so excited.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You want to hear my goddamn?
I do.
It's not nearly as exciting. But I had to go to the DMV today and get my real ID.
Oh,
And-
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Did you do that yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 4 years ago.
Why
when
did
they
everybody
were
do
like,
this
you
already?
have to.
I know. Well, listen, when they were like, you have to, my dad died. And so
Oh.
I was like, you don't have to tell me. I don't have to do
Yeah,
anything. Anybody
I
tells
don't
me what
have to
to
do
fucking
anything.
do. And then Lee put all my shit together for me to go do it. And then I was like, I'm not going to do it because my dad died. So I canceled it. And then they were like, anyway, we're going to wait another year before it's required. And so I was like,
Yeah.
I'll figure that out when I'm not as sad. And then now the deadline hit. And it's just that I can't fly if I wanted to. And I'm like, I don't really want it right now because planes be falling out of the sky.
Have you
Sorry.
seen the state of planes
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah. But then I fucking just did it.
Good for you.
I quit my job. I got to get those things checked off the list.
Got to get a couple things. How was it? Was it terrible?
It wasn't that bad. When I walked in, it was like popping, but I had an appointment, but I have both my kids with me. So this had potential to be like my worst day.
So I was going to say, you waited.
Yeah.
You had all of the time.
Yeah.
And then you waited until you were like, my kids will be with me.
I have to
That'll
do
be
it.
a fun life
Well,
experience.
my
for them.
dumb ass was like, oh, I'll ask my mom to watch the kids or some shit. And then I booked a morning appointment. So then that would be me like rushing around trying to get my mom here and all this stuff because she doesn't drive.
Yeah.
And also, I'm like, my kids are fucking old enough to go to the DMV. Like, they're okay. They can sit there and be quiet for a minute.
Yeah.
So I was like, it'll suck for them, but I'll let them bring their iPads, whatever. We'll go. Oh my gosh, so many people complimented me on my children. If you
Really?
ever need to feel good about being a parent, just take your kids to the DMV with an iPad. Because they're distracted, right?
Yeah.
Like, and my kids were so excited to see, because they had never been to one. So they were like,
They've only seen the one in Zootopia.
yeah, I
And
get,
they're like,
yeah,
"It's
probably.
real."
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, my oldest one was like, are we going to have to go on a military base? I'm like, no, babe.
A military base.
No, it's not like that. It's the Department of Motor Vehicles. Like,
No, honey, it's just a lot of lines.
yeah, exactly. They were like, oh, this line's long. I'm like, it's a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
And my oldest was like the airport. Like, they loved it.
He's in line for the line ride.
And then when I get up there, they're like trying to sell me on IDs for my kids. I'm like, why you want my kids' information so goddamn bad? She's like, if you would have brought their birth certificates, they could have an ID too. I'm like, nah, we're good. I pass, whatever. And then I'm sitting there thinking, what does my fucking 9-year-old need a goddamn ID for? Like, this is weird.
Yeah,
He's
that's
still 8, but still.
Yeah, it's weird though. The only thing I could think is like you can get the minor IDs or whatever, like when you're 18 years old, but
Yeah.
you don't have a driver's license, maybe.
Right.
Then you could be like, I could still go to the
Like,
casino
I
though.
could.
Yeah.
But do I need to?
Yeah.
Is there
yeah.
a reason for me to come back? Because I'd rather not, and I don't have their birth certificates. But she said it like it was an exciting thing for me. And I'm like, maybe she's saying it so it'd be exciting for the kids, but the kids did not give a fuck. They were like, why do I need an ID? And I'm like, I don't know. And their school ID I find on the floor cut up, and I'm like, what are you doing? I could have kept that in your home chest or some
This
shit.
is not how you treat school IDs.
No,
or
he didn't give
IDs.
a fuck.
Oh, apparently.
Anyway, all of that's not even my goddamn, other than I am very proud of my little babies because they were so good. And I
Yeah.
took them to brunch and everything after, so I had a little cute date with them.
Aw.
But the whole point of my goddamn was when I was standing in line to take a picture for my ID, all of a sudden, remember 2 weeks ago how I talked about that my goddamn there was a pincher bug in my tit and I freaked the fuck out? Oh my God, guys. I was in line for the picture and something stabbed my tit so hard. And I was fully fucking convinced there was a pincher bug in there. I had to keep myself calm. Like
during the picture? This is like...
No, it was before. Like I wasn't actively taking the picture.
You're like in the line with other people around you.
Right. But it was like this sharp pain that felt like a pinch.
Like on the outside.
On like my fucking tit, right? Where that thing bit my ass.
Oh,
like,
no.
Bit my tit.
Bit your tit.
Yeah, like fucking nipple area. Like the center of the tit.
Yeah.
I was like, ouch.
Prime real estate.
And I'm like trying not to be obvious that I'm scratching the fuck out of my tit or like feeling around for a bug. Yeah. And I'm like trying to flip my bra inside out on the bottom, like wiggle it, like what is going on? Oh my God. Okay, so I fucking kept my cool, but I was fully convinced that I got bit by a fucking pincher bug. When I got home, it kept happening, and even now I feel like faint annoyance on my tit. There was a dog hair weaved into my bra in such a way that it was just stabbing right into probably a fucking milk duct or something. I don't even know. Yeah. Oh my God, it was horrifying and awful. And now I'm just like, I'm traumatized.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
I've had the hair in your bra before. That's the worst. And you're like scratching it, trying to find something. You like can't pull it out because it's just this tiniest little sliver.
Oh, you can't feel it in public too. I had to like inspect.
Yeah, you have to like
maybe
flip
it's a hair
around. Yeah.
And I had to pull it out.
Yeah. Those are awful. Those are the worst.
Anyway, thank God it wasn't a fucking pincher bug. Could you imagine if my goddamn was that there was another pincher bug in my bra? You guys would think I was so fucking gross.
I would, have to
intervene.
I would have to intervene.
Like, there's a problem.
Like, see the situation. Like, do you not see the nest? Are you putting your bra on the nest?
Yeah, like, is it in the bathroom on that same fucking pole, too? I have it on the same
I can
pole.
Imagine.
Because, we use bras a couple times.
Yeah.
Unless it's a hot, sweaty day. They're like jeans.
Right.
They can go a couple uses.
Well, goddamn.
Fucking seriously. So, are you guys ready for...
Hair in the bra at the DMV? That's torture.
With my kids.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that bad. Look how regulated I am.
Look at you.
I'm not even mad. I'm like, oh shit, that was a wild morning.
That was a wild morning. And then my boys came out of it.
I know. And then my boys wanted to go to brunch, and I was like, I don't really want to eat anything because I can't eat in the morning. And it was like 10:30 when we were done.
Right.
But I did it, and I was like, even sitting there, I'm like, somebody's going to fucking make a comment about how I barely ate my food. I hate when people do that. I'm not even at the restaurant with anybody but my kids. It was the server that was like, oh, you barely ate. I'm like, yeah, I can't eat right now. Like, it was 2 eggs Benedict, and I ate one of them. That's pretty good. That's
a solid half.
Right? I'm full right now.
Someone commented? A waiter commented?
Yeah.
Girl, now I'm offended for you. We're going to go on a different tangent.
Everybody always is
not
like,
your business.
I could reserve this. Or they say,
what?
And I'm like, I have been fighting for my life to make this bowl of spaghetti look like not a mountain.
Right.
Like,
that's annoying. I can't believe people say things to you. Maybe it's your face.
It must be like I'm very inviting.
Yeah.
I did make a lot of people at the DMV smile, which is a miracle.
You light up a fucking room.
I'm going to end up murdered.
If I've ever seen a room light up.
I hope not.
I hope you don't.
I'd be so mad. I will haunt you.
I will start every interview with she lit up a room.
You better. Speaking of lighting up a room, do you guys want to hear about Dennis Martin?
Yep. Did he light up a room?
He was set to light up a room, and I deleted it because I was like, we say that too much. Too fucking much.
Too far many
times have we said this.
Too many times.
Yeah. So I deleted it, but he certainly as shit did light up a room.
But he was a nice guy.
He was pretty fucking cool, it turns out.
All right. Good for him.
Okay, so Dennis Lloyd Martin, he was born on June 20th, 1962.
Okay.
In Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, shit!
Knoxville?
I know.
60s?
What was happening then?
Nah, I don't think a lot, but then he would have been like 10 in the 70s, and then more was happening there, right?
Real fun. Was there? I don't know.
Fucking know.
Maybe, yeah. So anyway, back to Dennis.
Yeah.
He was the youngest son to his father, William, who went by Bill, and his mom, Violet.
Okay.
Dennis had one older brother. His name was Douglas Martin, and he was about 3 years older than him, and they were very close to each other. Like, growing up, Doug always watched out for Dennis, that kind of stuff. They got along. The Martin family lived a comfortable, wholesome life in Knoxville. They were known as a close-knit, attentive, and loving family.
Okay.
Like, nobody's abusive here, okay?
Nope.
His father, Bill, was a cautious, responsible man who worked hard to provide a safe and active upbringing for his boys.
Good
so,
for him.
like, you know, if he took them fishing, he was teaching them, you know, like, this is how you catch a fish. This is how you're safe. Don't fucking hook your brother's face with a hook. You know?
Yeah. He was attentive.
Right. His mother, Violet, was warm and nurturing and was very involved in the boys' daily lives.
Okay.
Dennis was full of energy. He had a big imagination and a ton of curiosity, just like any little boy would.
Mm-hmm.
He loved spending time outdoors, exploring, and he had a big adventurous spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Despite being a little adventurer, Dennis was always respectful of his parents' rules. Like, his father was like, you know, safety patrol over here. So he always stayed close to camp or home or whatever whenever he was adventuring.
Okay, good for him.
He was definitely a little country boy, and he loved hiking with his father and grandfather, playing outside with his brother Douglas, and they'd like climb trees, they'd look for animals, they'd go splash in the creek, like very nature-driven outdoor lifestyle upbringing.
All right.
Sounds like a dream.
It does. It sounds like a lot of fun.
They did not grow up in San Diego.
No, we don't have amenities like that.
You have to use the cement to get to the ocean.
Yes.
Teachers and neighbors described Dennis as bright, polite, and friendly, and he smiled often, and he played cheerfully, like happy little kid.
Yeah.
Dennis loved spending time with his grandfather, who was named Clyde, and Clyde was really involved in both of the boys' upbringing. I think he lived in the home with them. I'm not 100% sure, but they would always go on outdoor adventures and go camping and everything, and Clyde would come with them. Bill, the dad, was known to take great care in planning safe, organized trips, ensuring that his boys were well prepared for all these outdoor adventures. Like, they're going, it's not like us when we go camping where, like, we're going to rent a trailer and an RV. Like, they're going deep into national forest, pitching tents, like, rough it camping.
Yeah. Boy Scout situations.
Exactly. In mid-June of 1969, as summer arrived in Tennessee, the boys all prepared for one of their cherished traditions, which was a Father's Day weekend camping trip where they would bring Clyde along too.
Oh, that's fun.
And all the boys go camping.
Yeah. Okay.
And so Dennis is 6 and Doug is 9.
Okay.
Now this year, they chose to head to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and it's one of their favorite destinations. It's known for scenic beauty, dense forest, rolling hills, and peaceful meadows. Ooh. The Martin boys were very familiar with the park and the trails. It was not like risky, unfamiliar, backwoods, tough terrain kind of thing that they were doing.
Yeah.
It was like...
It was a pretty standard hiking trip.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And they had also visited this place several times. Like, they camped there often. So the family arrived at Smokemont Campground, which was located on the North Carolina side of the park.
Okay.
Spirits were high. The boys were excited to spend some time outdoors, sleeping under the stars, and they wanted to go explore the national park with their father and grandfather.
Yeah.
Bill was careful to keep the trip well organized, like I mentioned he would do. He had planned a moderate hike from Smokemount up to Spence Field, which is a grassy open meadow area along the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
Like I said, they had camped here often and before.
Okay.
The hike would bring them up to a higher elevation. Spence Field sits at about 4,900 feet, so that they could have like cooler temperatures, really beautiful panoramic views. Like, it's a gorgeous area, sought after place to go to.
Gotcha.
The hike goes smoothly. Dennis and Douglas handled the trail well for their ages and everything. Like I said, nothing crazy. This wasn't like we're fucking gonna get swept away by a storm, dangerous shit, crocodile hunter, Dundee bullshit.
Yeah.
Bill made sure to keep a close eye on both the boys, and he would pause often to rest for water breaks or if they needed to, like, you know, fucking feel their legs again. This is my nightmare, guys.
Yeah. How far is this hike?
I don't know, but it sounds like part of the journey, right? Like, you're hiking to go camp.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure.
And it was enough that they had to pause for breaks and shit. So
Yeah.
a decent hike. But these
Sure.
boys loved it.
This is in the Appalachian Mountains?
It's on the Appalachian Trail. It's in the Smoky
you said
Mountains.
North Dakota, though.
Smoky Mountains.
Or
I don't know
no,
how
North
far
Carolina?
the Appalachian
The fuck
Mountains
did you
go.
say? I don't.
I didn't look. Are Smoky Mountains part of the Appalachian Mountains? I don't know, but I've heard of Smoky Mountains a lot because I used to live over in Virginia and shit, and we traveled a lot.
In
So, you know.
Virginia?
In Virginia. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, so they handle it well for their age, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the family arrives at Spence Field in the afternoon that day.
Okay.
They set up camp near an open grassy meadow. The fields were surrounded by dense woods, but they offered like clear visibility for several hundred feet around camp. You could
Okay.
see pretty far. So this was like a perfect spot to camp and let the kids play. They could run around and the parents can see everything. They're not going to get fucking lost in the woods or anything crazy.
Yeah, love that.
Don't go in the woods. Stay out in the meadow.
Yeah.
Other hikers and campers were also in the area since Father's Day weekend was a popular time in the park. So they weren't alone.
Mm-hmm.
Tents were pitched and then like the gear was unpacked. And the boys played nearby as the adults prepped camp.
Mm-hmm.
During the afternoon, the boys encountered another camping party, and they were an unrelated family who had 2 young children that were similar in age to Dennis and Doug.
Oh, fun.
I know. So quickly, the 2 groups kind of like struck up a friendly conversation, started hanging out together. The kids played all day until it was basically nighttime, right?
Yeah.
But everybody was watching the kids. They were having a blast.
Yeah.
So they go to bed, and the next day was a Saturday, and it was a beautiful day. There were clear skies. The temperature was like perfect. So they were ready to go exploring. The children continued to play freely around the meadow as the adults relaxed nearby at camp, and both of the families continued to keep an eye on their kids, and everything was normal, right?
Okay.
At around 4:30 p.m., the children decide to play a harmless little prank on the adults.
A harmless little prank?
Yeah.
I hate harmless little pranks.
I know. They split up in 2 groups, hiding behind separate bushes, planning to jump out to scare their parents.
Okay, were they sibling groups or were they
I don't
split?
know who was with who.
You know what I mean?
Right.
All right.
I don't know who was with who.
2 groups, 2 bushes, jump out and scare them.
Right. Dennis chose a bush that was a little further away from the other children for some reason,
Okay.
and that's where he hides.
Okay.
The other boys completed the prank. They jump out, and they're like, ha ha ha, surprise, scared you adults. You know, you thought we were all fucking missing. Here we are. Bah, gotcha.
Yeah.
But Dennis never jumped out of the bush.
Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, bum. Bill noticed immediately.
Bum,
He's
bum, Bill?
Bum, bum, Bill. He noticed immediately. He was like, where the fuck is Dennis? Like,
I can count.
great surprise. Yeah, where's your brother?
Very cool. I see that you 3 are not missing.
Yeah, where's the other one? So he never jumps out, and he immediately notices, and he calls out to Dennis, expecting him to, like, you
Pop
know,
out. Like, he's
hey,
just
Dad,
late
I'm
to
right
the
here.
prank.
Sorry about that. Gotcha,
Yeah.
real good. Don't ever do that again, right? But after multiple calls with no response, Bill starts to get concerned.
Yeah.
Within minutes, Bill's running down the nearby Appalachian Trail. He's calling for his son, and he's freaking out, right? He
Yeah.
covers 2 miles in this
Jesus.
whole search, like calling up
shit.
and down.
What?
I know.
I
Bill-
thought you could see everything from where they're at.
Well, you can for like a couple hundred yards, and then it's forest and there's a trail.
Yeah.
But they were all he was just there, like
Yeah.
they just hit
Yeah.
and then just popped out. It happened very quickly. So obviously the other campers join in helping to search the area. They're all calling out Dennis's name. The remaining adults fan out to comb the surrounding woods while his dad's like walking up and down the trail. And despite being in an open field with clear sights, like sight lines, there was no sign of Dennis. Nobody knew where he was. He just disappeared.
So, real quick, that's like my nightmare because one of my kids, both my kids do it, but one of them does it more now where like if they think they're in trouble or something, they'll hide and not answer.
I fucking know that about your kids. It scared the shit out of me.
It scares the shit out of me,
I was like,
too.
dude, you gotta say something.
Like, I
when
don't
I'm
care if
calling
you're
you.
mad, yeah, but you have to say something. And I would be terrified if, like, my kid, or I would think, what if my kid is doing that? You know, like hiding behind a tree somewhere.
Yeah, and you gotta
like,
be
they're
like,
right here.
this is serious. You need
Yeah.
to come out. I know.
But then bigger fear is that they're going to do that and not answer, and then something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
that's when you're going to get taken
Oh
or
my
whatever.
God,
like,
I
it starts
know.
innocent, and then
Turns out,
I can't find you, and now it's your own fault.
this is your biggest fear. So the search escalates really quickly, right? People start to realize, okay, this kid's really missing. We can't find him.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not good.
That's
Park
scary.
rangers get involved. They are notified immediately. And the first official search team arrived within hours. So everybody responded pretty quickly.
Okay.
The search radius expanded rapidly as nightfall set in because it's starting to get dark,
Jesus.
okay? And to make matters worse, heavy rain started to fall that evening. There was nearly 3 inches of rain that night.
Baby.
And a little baby 6-year-old running around out
Oh
there.
my God.
You have a 5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Mine's about to be 6.
Yeah. I have
That's so
5
sad.
and 7.
Just imagine them out there alone.
No.
And it's raining. And they have no
No.
idea where. And they were just hiding in a bush and now you're gone. Okay, not to
Did
make
you
this.
say now they're drowning?
And now they're gone, is what I said. But maybe in 3
3
inches of
inches of
water.
rain.
Hold your head up, son.
Don't be so depressing.
Okay, but also this rain, not only is it, going to drop temperatures and make it cold for the kid, but it's washing away any tracks, any evidence. Yeah. I guess it also fucks with like scent tracking with dogs and everything.
I would imagine, yeah.
So it dropped the temperature to the 40s, which
my God.
evidently is 40, like the same Celsius and Fahrenheit.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. By the next morning and over the next few days, the search for Dennis was in full swing. There was over 1,400 searchers that participated, which included park rangers, Boy Scouts, the National Guard, volunteers, and even military personnel got involved. What the fuck? Helicopters were used to search the area from above. Search dogs were deployed, but struggled due to the terrain and the rain.
Yeah.
The search area covered miles of the forest, all the valleys, the rugged wilderness, but despite this enormous effort, they weren't finding any physical evidence of Dennis, like at all, or his disappearance.
Those kids have to know.
Like, that's fucking weird.
Those kids have to have some kind of an inkling of what happened.
What happened?
Whether there was like a creepy person around, or like, they were mad and went over there, or so-and-so said something that made them mad. Yeah.
And they ran away. Maybe they're pouting and got lost and confused. And
like, there's something else. And then to all jump out, like, see, we weren't missing. We joked that
Surprise.
We were missing.
Yeah.
But we're actually not.
Yeah.
Is like,
weird.
but there is one of you missing.
Weird.
It's a weird thing to just come right out and say.
Right.
I don't like it.
I don't either. So what's interesting is that within days of Dennis's disappearance, the U.S. Army Green Berets arrived, and they're an elite special force unit. They're not usually deployed for missing children. So this is weird.
Why are they being deployed now? Why was the military involved?
All valid questions.
Okay.
So the Green Berets operated separately from the civilian searches, and they followed their own search patterns and protocols. They refused to brief the park rangers or work with the current searches or anything. They were out there on their own mission to find Dennis.
What?
Yeah.
Is this like a place with a military base?
I don't know. Like Smoky Mountains?
Are
Is there
they,
one? I don't.
know?
Is
Like,
there? Well, that's what everybody's saying. They're
they
like,
hiding
that's
something out there?
fucking weird. Like, what do you guys know? Like,
Right.
why are you here for Dennis?
Right.
Is it because of Dennis or is it because of something
Or
else?
is it because of something else? Or did somebody escape and is out here or something? Or
Exactly. Okay, so these are all really good points. So it wasn't clear how their involvement became to be. They just sort of showed up but refused to collaborate.
Okay.
The investigation discovered that on the afternoon that Dennis vanished, a separate family, they're called the Key family, they were hiking in Cades Cove, which is several miles from Spence Field.
Mm-hmm.
They heard a loud, high-pitched scream that startled them.
Mm-hmm.
And then moments later, they saw a disheveled-looking man in camouflage clothing darting through the woods, and he appeared to be carrying something or someone over his shoulders. Shoulder?
Okay. What?
Okay.
What?
But this is miles away from where Dennis went missing, but around the same time, okay?
Yeah, but was this days later? Or
No, this is the same
that's
day.
the same day.
And the
Okay.
Key family reported this sighting. They were like, hey, something happened.
Okay.
But due to communication error, the report was not initially passed on to the lead searchers. So they didn't know about this account, so they didn't search the area miles away.
Oh my gosh.
Right. By the time the report reached the search coordinators, days had passed and park officials dismissed the sighting, stating that it's likely unrelated. What? It's your only clue, homie. Go look. Just check. Can we just check?
Even if it's likely unrelated, I would be interested in what it is related to. You
Right.
know? Like,
what
there
is
was
this man out here with camo on doing?
Exactly. And someone's scream, that high-pitched scream probably didn't come from this disheveled-looking man,
Right.
I would guess. Right?
Exactly. Maybe a small child that he could be holding over his shoulder.
Or a lady. Like, is someone else in distress then?
Right.
Even if it's unrelated, shouldn't we also investigate that?
What the fuck is going on?
Right?
Yeah, exactly. The Key family remained convinced that their sighting was connected.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, you shouldn't dismiss this. We really saw this. Like, they really think there's something related.
No, wait, hang on.
Yeah, no. I'm not just saying this for attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, this really happened.
And a couple miles away is far, but also, like, walkable.
Doable.
Runnable.
Yeah. If somebody's like watching you at your campsite run around and they're like, I'm gonna take that little boy, and then they hide and he snatches them, and then you can walk a couple miles.
Right. Quickly.
And it be around the same time. It was like 4:30, 5:30. I don't know.
Right.
The sun was setting. It was getting
Right.
close. It was the
Right.
end of the day,
Yeah, that's anywhere from 5 to 8.
Right. So, as the days turned into weeks, hope began to fade. Despite the massive scale of the search operation, no trace of Dennis Martin was ever found.
Jeez.
Eventually, the official search was called off. With no evidence to follow, the case grew cold. Right? They had nothing.
Yeah.
Except for that one report
Except for that one thing they had
that they ignored.
that they were like, yeah.
Nah, not over there.
Nah, it's not going to be that.
So the complete lack of evidence, combined with the strange elements surrounding the case, has fueled decades of speculation. Multiple theories have emerged over the years as to what happened to Dennis,
Skinwalker.
which is why I picked this case, as you all know. The National Park Service concluded that Dennis likely wandered away from his hiding spot and became lost in the rugged terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Exposure to the elements, particularly the cold temperature from the rain that night, may have led to hypothermia.
Mm-hmm.
The Smoky Mountains contain hidden crevices and steep ravines and thick undergrowth, like where a small child could easily fall or get disoriented or trapped or something.
Sure, but then also be there for
You to hear.
years?
Yeah, I don't know. And you're
Without
right
being
there.
found?
Like, how, I guess if he wandered for a long time.
Yeah, and not being found for years after, like, still, that's...
Yeah. And even if he wandered away, like, if you're searching the area and you expanded, like, at least a 2-mile radius everywhere,
Right.
you would find something, I would think.
I
don't
would
know.
think you would
Unless
find
he fell
something.
and died right away. I don't know. So, some believe that Dennis may have fallen into one of these hard-to-reach locations and succumbed quickly, with his body hidden from searchers, so that he's just dead in a ravine somewhere. Others suggest that Dennis was attacked by a large animal, like a black bear or a cougar, I guess, which is rare in the area, but could have been,
Okay.
or a wild boar. But I feel like you would hear that, and you would know, and you
feel
would
like
see
you would see
tracks.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be like, there was a wild bear here, or something.
Yeah, or, like, look at all of this blood.
Yeah, and there was no signs of a struggle. There was no torn clothing. There was no blood. There was nothing like that.
Yeah.
Another theory is that he was abducted by someone, like the Key family citing the man in the camouflage being, like, you know, the piece of evidence that would support this.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, when you mix in that allegedly the Key family said that the person was acting strangely, right? Like, it wasn't a normal encounter of a human. So, okay, that's weird. Something
Yeah.
might be up there. And if Dennis was abducted, then the person likely knew the area well enough to evade the searchers. So it could have been like some rando camper hiding out that likes little boys and snatches them up or some shit.
Ugh.
Some speculate that the man may have been a lone predator targeting vulnerable children, or a local survivalist living off the grid, or even an unknown criminal or some shit. Like, fucking hide out here and kill people. Whatever. Those are just
Yeah.
theories, right?
Yeah.
However, there's been no credible suspects that have ever been identified, and no ransom demands or evidence of human involvement or anything have been uncovered from this case. So authorities largely dismiss that theory, and probably that's why they don't care about the Key report, the Key family report. They're just like, we don't think anybody took them. I don't fucking
But,
know.
like...
But,
you
like,
wouldn't
what do you
know
think
unless you
happened?
saw
That's
it,
the
right.
that is the most probable, right? Like, out of
Right.
all of the scenarios, I'd say wandering off and falling into it. Was there a ravine close by? Did you check it? Like,
Right.
look at all the ravines then. Like, what are
Right.
you talking about? That's
Right.
just an excuse.
Right.
So then the other one is like, the most likely scenario would be that somebody camping hid, knew the area, took him, and is like, I like little boys or whatever, and killed him or
Whatever it
whatever.
is, yeah.
But you could also find him then if you look in the areas that someone thought they saw him, and you could track him, or you could look for a
So-
bunker in the area or something.
The fact that the military got involved, though, is something
Suspicious.
else, right?
Oh, I'm going to touch on that. Don't worry.
Okay.
We're going to
okay.
get into that,
Okay.
okay? So, my favorite theory.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the beginning part of it, and then it gets even more favoriter. Okay, so my favorite theory is a government cover-up theory, obviously.
Yeah.
So the presence of the Green Berets, like you're saying, it feels like years of speculation in this case.
Mhm.
The military's secretive operations and lack of transparency raised questions about, like, what they were searching for or what they were protecting. Like, this is weird. How come you got involved?
Yeah.
It's not just out of the goodness of your heart for this random child. Like, it should be, but it's not.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It should be, but it's not, because then you'd be busy with all of these random children.
Exactly. There's a
Right.
lot of them. So
Right.
some theorists suggest that the military was searching for something beyond just Dennis. Maybe
Like
an
a
unknown.
skinwalker.
Maybe. So maybe an unknown threat. for example, like a hostile group or people or clan or some shit that live in the park. You know, like mountain men clan living in the Appalachian Trail, or
sleeper cells that are just out there.
Yeah, just out there ready to attack, or even just like isolated humans that are like crazy and just gobbling up little children on trails.
The cannibal tribe that we're just trying to keep away from the
and we don't
view.
let the public know about.
You would think they would have just taken care of them. You know?
Yeah, but you don't know, man. Government cover-ups go deep. Maybe they're mining some sort of fucking cobalt out of those hills, and they're like, yeah, you keep doing that for us, and we'll keep fucking bringing you little baby children to suck the blood out of. I don't know. It's a theory.
All right, it's a theory. It's a work in progress.
We're getting there. We didn't dig into the theory, but that something nefarious is happening, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily which theory. There could be many, right?
It could have just been like a soldier gone AWOL, and then
they're like, "Hi, Todd's out there. Just feed him a child every now and then."
And he has been talking about kids this whole time. Now we got a missing kid, and he's out there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, then they're looking for their own because they don't want whatever.
Exactly. So that kind of leads into the next bullet of, like, his disappearance might have involved something classified, like what you're explaining. Like, they know something. They don't want to tell the public, whether it be a deranged, you know, Green Beret or like UFOs or aliens or whatever they're trying to cover up out there. There's something happening.
Wasn't Bear Grylls a Green Beret?
I don't know. Was he?
I thought we should get him out there.
I'm a raspberry beret.
Him.
In case you were wondering. And sometimes I go in through the outdoor.
I was going to ask.
You knew it, though. You knew the answer.
I did.
You knew it. So I'll offer it, you know, for those that don't know. Anyway, like I said, some of them, there were prior reports of people saying, like, you know, I've been abducted by aliens or UFOs, or I saw strange lights, or it's some weird unidentified phenomena. So that is really known in the Smoky Mountains as well. Exactly. So maybe they're related to that, like trying to cover up some shit they know.
Yeah, okay.
Their presence obviously suggests that they may have been searching for something bigger than Dennis. Like, it wasn't just Dennis.
Bigger than just him.
So we know there was something. We just don't know what that something was.
Or if that something was involved at all. Because they could have been like, a child went missing where our fucking...
Check for Bigfoot.
Secret escape Bigfoot is. Yeah. We better go out there just to make sure he wasn't involved.
It wasn't him.
You know?
No torn clothing, we can call it. Or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So there's no official statements from the Green Berets or any military have ever been made public regarding their role in the case of Dennis Martin.
Who put them onto that?
I don't know.
You would think that you could get a name.
Weird. Yeah. But because of all the mysteries and everything, people have really dug into this, okay?
Yeah.
Like, they've really dug in to figure out what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
So over the years, researchers have started to notice that Dennis's case wasn't entirely unique when they started looking at, like, you know, National Forest missing people cases.
Uh-oh.
In fact, it fit into a much larger and more disturbing pattern.
What?
One of the people who studied these patterns in depth is a former police officer named David Paulides.
Okay.
But he also created the Missing 411 investigation series. Let me explain to you what that was.
Okay.
So I guess for some reason, David uncovered hundreds of similar cases where people vanish under mysterious circumstances, especially in national parks and remote wilderness areas. I'm going to go ahead and guess this was because of his work, right? Like, he noticed all these missing cases and he was like, well, there's got to be a pattern here. And then he started looking at it and he's like, oh my God, they're all in national parks. There's a pattern.
Listen, that's hard for me to grasp onto as a pattern, because is it a pattern that it's all national parks, or is that
there's
just
more.
Where people go to hike is national parks?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
then, like, per capita of people,
there's going to be more people missing in a national park.
Exactly.
Well, let me explain the similarities.
Okay.
So, what made these cases chilling wasn't just the number of disappearances. It was the strange coincidences between them. Mm-hmm. In so many of these cases, people vanished within seconds of being seen last, just like Dennis. So, like, they were just with their group and they're gone.
Okay.
Search efforts were massive, often involving hundreds of thousands of people, yet no trace of the missing person or any other further evidence is ever found.
Mm-hmm.
Frequently, strange weather patterns coincide with the disappearances, like heavy rain, sudden storms, or thick fog, much like the dense downpour that happened in Smoky Mountains the night that Dennis disappeared. Which also, that one's like, I mean, if you're out in nature, nature's going to happen, right?
Right.
And if you're not looking. Tracking dogs often fail to find the scent trail, even though these animals are highly skilled and usually effective at finding missing person cases.
Yeah, but the majority of them had bad weather.
Yeah, but also I wonder how much rain really impacts the scent. Like, will it wash it away completely, or does it depend on how much rain? You know, like 3 inches seems like a lot. Like,
I would imagine it would depend on how much rain, but also just rain itself like has a smell.
Yeah,
that might
like
just
cover
be
it up,
overpowering.
right?
Yeah.
Or like the plants start emitting pheromones and shit.
Right.
Maybe. Many of these disappearances occurred near rich in granite or complex rock formations. I was like, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe you got to read the 411 series to fully understand that. Like, there's something with granite.
But
The pyramids, the King's Chamber, it's all
Yeah.
granite. I don't know. Listen, guys. Maybe it's all fucking... They're stealing baby boys to power the pyramids.
I
might be
have
onto
a
something.
baby boy, and I live on a mountain of
granite hill.
granite.
We all live on a mound of granite.
See, and then is it just... Are they found near these rock formations that are like granite, or does granite make up like a majority of national parks?
Yeah,
and if
I
the
don't know
majority
that
of people
part.
are going missing in national parks.
Right.
I don't know.
So in some cases, witnesses report seeing strange individuals near the scene shortly before or after the person went missing.
That seems more plausible.
Much like the Key family sighting of a man in camouflage carrying him into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Another common theme is a lack of transparency from authorities. So critical information is sometimes delayed, dismissed, or withheld entirely, leaving
that.
families and the public frustrated and suspicious. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what was that about? So that would be my most suspicious thing. And I have heard so much about national parks. I believe there's weird shit going on. Like, there's parts of the Grand Canyon that you're not allowed to go into and shit. Like, the Secret Servicemen pop out and they're like, you can't come in here. And you're like, it's a fucking cave.
Yeah.
Why can't I go in there? What's in
Yeah.
there? So I believe that we have national parks for a reason, that they're guarded for a reason. Like, hey, you're not allowed to come in here unless you have a pass and you can camp and that's it. Like, you
Yeah,
can't
but
own this
like,
land.
come in and bring
I
all your
believe there's
things.
a reason, and it's not just because it's pretty and Roosevelt was like, you know what, I love pretty spaces.
Yeah,
I don't trust our government enough.
that's fair.
But
That's
do
fair.
I think that they're like stealing babies to like feel blood of energy or
Right.
some shit? No. I'm just saying that to be extra and spicy. Like,
Right.
But like there's
But like there are probably places in it that are restricted from people.
and I'm over here
heavily.
like, fucking, that would be a great place to hide an alien base. And what if aliens are just like, baby boys? I don't know. Although I'd like to believe that they're my friends and they come in peace, you know?
Well, you're not a baby boy, so,
Yeah, so I'm fine.
you'll be all right.
I don't fucking know. Anyway, so David, the guy who's researching all these national parks and all this stuff, he found these patterns all over the world, but they're especially concentrated in U.S. national parks. Like, to your point, that could just be because they are all on granite or whatever. You know, like, you'd have to look at other reasons.
Yeah.
In all of these cases that David's looking up, though, it's not limited to just young children. They include experienced hikers, hunters, and elderly individuals, almost like it's unbiased. So, against my whole, like, little baby blood story.
Yeah,
You know?
because they're all different.
Yeah, they're all different variety of people. Some victims have reappeared days or week later in bizarre, often impossible locations with no memory of where or how they got there. And then in other cases, like in Dennis's, they're never found at all. David never pins his research on one explanation. Like, he's never like, it's the government, it's UFOs, it's aliens. He doesn't pin it on anything. It's just an open, like, I'm just looking into it and these are the patterns I notice.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very interesting. But he doesn't, like I said, he never suggests one thing, but he does say that he doesn't think it's bad luck or natural or anything. He says it's too consistent to be just like naturally happening or occurring, like what we're saying in the national park thing, or human error or something.
I'm for a good conspiracy. So,
Girl, me too.
You know?
I can't wait. I want to dig in more. I'm like, oh, tell me more about these 411 cases. So he hints that some form of intelligence may be involved, that whatever is behind these vanishings appeared to demonstrate patterns of precision and intention. I don't know why he knows that. Maybe because they all go missing with other people around, like you were just here and now you're gone.
Okay.
As his work gained attention, other researchers began suggesting even more speculative possibilities. Some believe certain areas of wilderness may contain electromagnetic anomalies or energetic distributions that interfere with human perception and even physical realities. So, like, if he wandered into one of these areas and was like, I don't feel good or something, and became disoriented.
Well, that's fun, and I feel like should be opened to the public and studied.
Save my lungs. I could just get high on the energy. Hold on.
I'm sorry. I didn't know I needed just a trip to this cave instead of years of therapy.
I didn't either. So in these so-called thin places, it's theorized that people may unknowingly cross into altered states, dimensions, or spaces where normal rules don't apply. So I'm guessing that would explain, like, the traveling far distances and you can't understand it.
Okay.
But okay.
We're going to the thin place.
Yeah, the thin veil. Others propose more unsettling ideas that some unknown force, whether non-human intelligence, interdimensional entities, or even an undiscovered predator, may be targeting humans in these remote areas.
Fucking predators out here?
I guess. I'm thinking, again, that would be with, like, the mountain clan men, right? Like, they're like, these are my mountains.
Oh, I was thinking more like alien
Oh,
versus.
like,
yeah, like.
I don't know why I did the chewy sound.
I
You
don't
know what I
either.
mean?
Yeah, I couldn't think of the predator sound, though. It's like,
Yeah,
I can't
that
think of
one.
it, yeah.
That one.
that one. Insert
Could you
that sound
fucking
here.
imagine? I bet that's probably what it's like to see an alien.
Right.
And they're supposed to be
Well,
able to, like, fucking glamour you.
Let's go to some national parks.
I need to be glamored, but I don't want to disappear. But
I
I'm
don't
okay
either.
with traveling 2 miles and not knowing what happened for a minute.
That sounds so much worse.
Well, I mean, if it's a proper abduction, that sounds great. As long as
Yeah.
I'm fine after.
Yeah.
But then I want to be like, the tracker's in my ear, you know?
Yeah. You want to be more aware of it all.
Right,
yeah.
right. Anyway.
Anyway.
Poor Dennis. They just want to know what happened to their kid, and I'm over here like, fucking aliens. All right.
Maybe the best thing.
Yeah, the greatest in all of the land. So, as for Dennis's family, as time passed, the official search efforts ended. They were left with the unimaginable grief and endless questions.
Yeah.
His parents never gave up hope in those early years, but as time passed, the reality of Dennis's permanent disappearance started to set in.
That sucks.
I know. The family continued to visit the Smoky Mountains on occasion, and they would return to the place that Dennis was last seen, still hoping for some sort of resolution or
He
sign
just
or
fucking
something.
pops out the woods.
He's like, hey guys, it's like fucking Jumanji. He's like, I've been stuck in the game for all these years.
Right.
He's Robin Williams all of a sudden. Fuck, man. What a wild ride.
What a wild ride that would be.
Oh, I bet they were hoping. Shit, I'd
I
bring
know.
that game every time.
I guess.
Over the decades, they remain largely private, speaking rarely to the media, holding on to their memories and pain quietly.
That's awful.
Bill, Dennis's father, he passed away in 2014, and he never found out what happened to his son. I bet he knows now. If there's anything I know about near-death experiences, is that I guess you get some knowledge.
It's that allegedly.
You find some shit out when you die. So Dennis's disappearance deeply impacted his brother Doug, obviously, and he carried the weight of that day throughout his whole life because he was like with, like,
I'll
and
bet,
he felt
yeah.
responsible,
And
like he
even-
was buddy, took care of his baby brother,
Right.
you know.
And even me, I'm like, he knows something. They knew something.
I
Like,
know, right?
I'll bet
It's like,
every
nah, man, he
person-
picked that bush.
Right. I bet every person has questioned them to no end.
I know, isn't that sad?
That sucks.
The Smoky Mountains National Park never officially reopened the case, though many independent researchers and enthusiasts continue to investigate to this day. So it's still a mystery, and we're all like, fucking aliens.
Goddamn, Dennis. Come out.
Goddamn, Dennis.
Goddamn, Dennis. What if he came out as like another 6-year-old, you know? Like still a 6-year-old. He's like, hey, guys.
Ah, man, I don't know how I'd feel about that. That would suck. Everybody's all old. Your dad's dead. You're like, what the fuck? I thought we were going to go fishing.
Right.
I thought we were going to go on a hike today.
He's like, surprise. I'm not missing.
if you ever showed back up again, you have to yell whatever those boys yelled out of that
Right.
bush.
It's a surprise. We weren't lost.
Yeah.
I'm not missing.
That's fucking so terrifying and my biggest fear. Do you
Yeah.
know how often I'm distracted when we're camping?
I know.
And I'm just like, they're old enough. They won't.
They're gonna be fine.
They won't
yeah,
go far.
they're old enough. They're gonna wander down to the fucking creek. Into
And
the
keep
thinnest
their head
veil.
above water. and they're going to get disoriented by the electromagnetic waves. And an alien's going to come probe their asshole. And I'm going to be missing them until I'm 62.
Yeah.
And they show up and yell surprise. That's my biggest fear.
And then you're gonna be like, God damn it!
I read this once on an episode.
I told you not to scare me. Yeah, God, come back in.
That was the worst prank ever. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
jeez. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's awful.
So, if you guys want to check out pictures pertaining to that case, you should go to our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Our handle is at ISGD Podcast. You can email us at isgdpodcast@gmail.com, or you can snail mail us at
P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91979.
9. Bye, guys.
Bye.